Okay, welcome to this update on the storm. We got some storm reports that have been issued from the National Weather Service that I want to look at. And most of these are wind gust readings. 62 mile an hour wind gust at Mamaroneck, 58 mile an hour wind gust at JFK, uh, a tree down in Southampton on road, sustained winds in Ronkonkoma, 40 miles an hour. This was at Islip Airport around 1:01 p.m. A 60 mile an hour wind gust in Jamaica, Queens. A 61 mile an hour wind gust at Jackson Heights. A 64 mile an hour wind gust at Amityville. A 58 mile an hour wind gust at Calverton. 46 mile an hour sustained wind in Amityville. A 63 mile an hour wind gust at Fairfield. A 64 mile an hour, I'm not going to read all of these, just the more higher ones. 64 mile an hour wind gust at Robert Moses. A 60 mile an hour wind gust at Farmingdale Airport. A 58 mile an hour wind gust at Norwalk. A 55 mile an hour wind gust at Plum Island. 69 mile an hour wind gust. Actually, no, the 55 was the sustained wind. So they had a sustained wind of 55 miles an hour at Plum Island, and this was at Great Gull Island. Also at Great Gull Island, 69 mile an hour wind gust. Wow, that is impressive, to say the least. Tree down on a house in Mastic. Sustained winds of 48 miles an hour in East Mauritius. A 68 mile an hour wind gust in Hampton Bays. Wow. 61 mile an hour wind gust in Peconic. A 61 mile an hour wind gust in New London. A 61 mile an hour wind gust at Fisher's Island, and power lines down at Arrowhead Lane in Port Jefferson Station. Just some of the examples of some what happened over the area today. These are the wind reports again, which we already went over, I believe. There are a few new ones here. A 54 mile an hour wind gust in Wandsworth, 48 in Great Neck, but if you look at Suffolk County here, that Great Gull Island, 69 miles an hour. And East Mauritius, a wind gust of 68 miles an hour. And in Hampton Bays, a wind gust of 68. Orient, 66 mile an hour wind gust. Copeg, 64 mile an hour wind gust. Stony Brook, 64 mile an hour wind gust. Connex, 61 mile an hour. 60 mile an hour wind gust at Farmingdale Airport. So very impressive. West Hampton had a gust up to 55. And really, really impressive winds. The most impressive ones were over Suffolk County. Rainfall reports. So this is these are still the old ones. So this is the one I already read for you. So that's going to bring this weather update on the storms to an end. Some more rainfall reports. I will we'll look at the weather and hazards map. Actually, let me just do that. We can get the latest weather rainfall reports on this. Hopefully, just look at the rainfall reports again. And yes, those are winter storm watches and some winter storm warnings. And freeze. It's actually very cold in Atlanta right now. I actually had a few snow flurries there. 35. It's colder. It's colder in Atlanta. It's colder in parts of Florida than it is here right now. That's how crazy it is. That's insane. And we're still not seeing the cool air yet. It's starting to maybe move into Philadelphia a little bit. Let's get the dew point here. It's starting to go down a little bit, so probably, like I said, a couple of hours, hopefully the drier air will finally make it in here. But right now we're still in the swamp. We're still dealing with the humidity. Let me look at the rainfall totals one more time here on this. We'll use this instead because this will have more of the totals here. Let's see if we have any. And it's not showing up. Nope. Let's try it again. Alright, not working. Why is it not working? Oh, I see what I did. I made a mistake. It should work now. There we go. So here we go. Here are the numbers, the latest rainfall numbers. And it looks like I said most in Nassau, we see those 1 1/4 to 1.5 inch totals. Still have that outlier in Woodbury. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But generally, at least an inch of rain, an inch to an inch and a half of rain. Some areas closer to 2 inches up here on the North Fork there. around Riverhead, north of Riverhead there, and Mattituck 2.09, 1.29. But that's generally a look at the latest with this storm. Quite a storm it was, I'll tell you that. Thanks for watching.